tell us about JR, and then tell us about JR and Fellowcraft.
Well, JR is short for John Ryan. I have been a musician since I was about 17 years old. My mother was a singer-songwriter and a worship director. She used to do worship music. Still does. She has been playing guitar as long as I can remember. She taught me how to play at a very young age when my brother was taking lessons and decided he wanted to move over to the bass guitar. So I picked up his acoustic, I still own it, and I started playing. And my mother taught me a couple of riffs, and she's like, I'm not going to teach you if you're not going to learn. And I said, all right, I'm in this, I'm learning. And that riff that I learned became a song. That song kind of followed me, and that's how it all started. It started by learning a few chords and then picking up from other people what they would teach me.
Oh, okay. And so you brought that, and so now JR is the frontman for Fellowcraft. Is it what are your roles in the band? How does that part work?
Being a frontman for a band really is just another way of saying lead singer, or at least just kind of like the connection to the audience. I mean, you mentioned earlier, like I really do enjoy like jumping around and getting wild and crazy on stage, because it's really where I draw my energy from. The songs themselves, the band members like you and Brandon, and then the connection through the music to the crowd itself. But you know, we've played so many shows. I mean, I jump around for the sound man, you know. So if it's just me and the sound man,
this is true. And listeners, he keeps talking about me as well, because I am the drummer in Fellowcraft, which is the same band that JR is in. So I have my bandmate on today, and that's why we're going to talk about some things. It sounds like we're talking to each other because we're in the same band, because we are. And I have seen him jump around for the sound man.
Yeah.
And you know what? He still does it just for the sound man. It doesn't change. It's kind of incredible to watch him do his thing. It doesn't matter whether it's for 2 people or a sold out show at the Black Cat. He's the same crazy performer, and it's amazing. So JR, speaking of like jumping around at the Black Cat and stuff, what's proudest and or coolest moments that come to mind from your music career so far?
2 of them specifically. One was our Black Cat show. We played Black Cat in the summer, and we were opening up for an incredibly talented band called Rainbow Kitten Surprise, and I loved their music. I really was looking forward to opening for them. And when we loaded in the back, I was bringing on my gear in to this, what I call hollowed ground. The Black Cat is like holy ground to a musician in this area. I saw Johnny Graves' sticker right there in the dumpster, and I just thought to myself, like, I'm walking in the shadow of my heroes. I've looked up to Johnny from the moment I met him, so that was really cool. Being backstage and feeling the energy, like Dave Grohl was here, you know. The other thing that comes to mind is playing at Rock and Roll Hotel, specifically, like, was my favorite show I've had, but I think one thing stuck out. It was recording at Inner Ear Studios, and not just at Inner Ear, but with Don Zantara. I mean, he did Fugazi, he did the Bad Brains, he did the Slicky Boys. I mean, this guy is a DC institution, and there we were as a band, not only in his presence, but under his tutelage in his studio. It was an amazing experience. I walk in the shadow of the heroes that I grew up looking up to.
Really, and it truly is. It was an incredible experience working with Don. I could say it was definitely an institution. And listeners, if you've got questions or thoughts for JR, you can send them over on Twitter. Just tag at DC Music Rocks, and I will get them over to him while he's here on the show. But with that, I want to hear talk about the biggest lesson that you've learned.
You got to respect the hustle. I mean, as a musician, it's a hustle. It's hard. It's half business, it's half songwriting. It's a relationship. Every band that I know of, every single one of them, the bandmates are like boyfriends and girlfriends, or boyfriends and boyfriends, or girlfriends and girlfriends. It's wild to see it happen, and it's a hustle, and it's hard. There's people's feelings, there's people's opinions, and then on top of that, you've got all of this marketing that you have to do, image coordination, and let's not forget, your main reason you got into this was because you wanted to make music. And in my case, like, I wanted to make music. I wanted to write music and play music and perform. So that's one little sliver of it. I would tell any musician who's getting into the game, respect the hustle. Be good to those people around you. Be polite, be professional, but respect how much work this really is.
There is certainly a lot goes into it, and it becomes a team effort. That's for sure. The better
Without
the
a doubt.
team, the better it is. Absolutely. Share with us. How do you find your music? How does that come to you?
Typically, I find my music through shows that I go to or friends that are into a band and tell me about. I don't have one place that I go. I'm not a Spotify guy. I'm not a Bandcamp dude. I'll go anywhere. If you have an album out, I can find it. I just Google you, you know? And as an artist, you get to control the direction and medium of where your music goes. If you don't want to put anything on the internet and you just want to sell CDs out of the back of your car, if I've heard your music and like it, I'm going to buy a CD out of the back of your car. So
Right.
most of the time it's shows. Like I go to a show, like one of the songs that's on the list today was a band that I saw at the 930 Club. And I'm like, check this band out. I'm going to get their stuff. That's as simple as it is for me. If I like your stuff, I will ask you where I can find it and I'll go get it. And I hope other people do the same.
Definitely, it's a blessing. Well, fans like you are certainly a blessing, because it is not. Sometimes everybody has their different approaches, and I love that one. I love that about you, man. You do go out. I've seen you go out and get the CDs with bands that we're playing with too. I've seen it. Now, one piece of advice. I love to end with this question because I think it appeals to everybody, and I love hearing the responses that I get from guests. So for you, what's one piece of advice you have for DC musicians, and one piece of advice you'd offer for DC music fans?
For DC musicians, my advice is as simple as it can be, as simple as possible, and that is just support the scene. Help bands out. Go to shows that aren't on your bill. Help a band out when they need a guitar if one breaks. I had a musician who I'm going to play today who was on a bill with me at Rock and Roll Hotel, and I blew out 2 strings during a solo. And it was going to take me a hot minute to fix it up, and we had a plan for it, but he just walked over and just handed it to me. Here's the guitar, JR. You know, and I think that's the kind of thing that makes this scene so amazing to me. Support the scene. Go to their shows. Help them out when they need it. Get on bills when you can. Be as professional and polite as possible, but support them. To fans, it's really simple. Go see bands play live. It's that easy. I mean, I relish every bit of support I can get. I am so thankful to anyone. If you've liked my video online, if you've followed us on Spotify, anything you do, thank you so much. I won't ask you to do anything beyond that. But if you really want to make a difference, just pay the cover charge and get in the venue. You can buy merch, you can buy drinks to support the businesses, but that's it. Just go to shows.
And I think that's going to shows is an interesting thing. If you go to shows, please by all means introduce yourself to the bands and to the musicians, because for me, and I know for JR, it is truly a treat when people after the show, we love to stick around and talk to folks. And if you enjoyed the show, or if there's a part of it that you enjoyed, same thing with your comments on the videos, that personal connection is a powerful thing. But going to that shows
right
in person.
I would say the same thing to the artists. Like, support them. Be good to your fans. They're the reason that we get to do this. You and I don't get to play music in DC for any other reason other than people come out and watch us do it. So I want to make sure that every single one of them is taken care of and has a great experience.
Absolutely. And thank you, JR, for the words of wisdom and for sharing a little bit about you. It's a treat to get to know the man behind the music, which is why I love this part of the show and the interviews. It's truly a treat. And the next part of the show has to do with bringing great music. One of the things that I challenge all my guests to do is to bring us great music, and JR has delivered tenfold on that one. So first up for today, JR, what do you have for us?
This is a song by one of my favorite bands of all time. This is Clutch with DC Sound Attack.
Sweet. Thanks, guys. You're awesome.